What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Copon. It's January 22, 2026, and this is Lift and Learn episode 152. In this episode, I'll talk about training mistakes people make every year, and in the second topic, I'll talk about rebuilding your base, so the fundamentals. Before we get into today's episode, I'll share what life has been like lately. Sometimes it'll be fitness related in some aspect. If you want to follow along, you can find me on Instagram at isaiah.copon or check out my website, isaiahcopon.com, where I offer personal training and coaching. The podcast also has its own page as well. That's at Lift and Learn Podcast. That's where I'll be posting short clips of the show. And now for today's episode. Another week into 2026 now. Okay, so I hope yours is going well so far. I've definitely noticed some more people in the gym nowadays. We'll see how long that lasts. I was training my 5 a.m. client the other day, and at around 5:30 in the morning, I was trying to grab her a lat pull-down machine, because we have 3 of those in the gym, and they were all taken, which never happens that early in the morning. So that was a sign that there were more people in there than usual, and I've been busy to start the year as well. More clients not missing days than sometimes they usually would, so that's a good thing. This past week at the gym that I work at, we got some new equipment installed actually. We got those Normatec boots for our clients to use. That's for recovery purposes, if you're familiar with those. And you know I'm going to be trying those out when I get a chance, especially after like a solid leg day with Bulgarians, lunges, all that stuff. I'll check back in to see if they're effective or not, but the pro athletes use them, so there must be some kind of truth to them, right? Anyways, okay, so family life, that's what I wanted to talk about actually. I had my daughter like all of last weekend. That was the best, honestly. On Friday, we kind of just hung out at the mall. We had Shake Shack together. That was our lunch date that day. She loves the Shake Shack fries, so that's what she had. She's got her energy and her appetite back. And yeah, that's a little bit of a cheat meal for her. I'm still maintaining my 3,000 calorie goal, so I just had the burger, didn't have the fries or the shake that day, so that was disappointing, but the burger was great. So I did all that just to stay within my macros and calorie intake for the day, and then after that, I let her walk it off for like a few minutes, like at every one of her favorite stores. So Build-A-Bear, that one she loves, Nike, Apple, GameStop, the usual spots. It is actually amazing how fast they grow up, man. Like, I'm now having to chase her down everywhere. And this time last year, I'm pretty sure she was just starting to roll over and move around a tiny bit on the ground, maybe crawling and stuff. And I'd be watching her like a hawk, like all the time. But in reality, during those times, they don't really need that much guidance. Nowadays, oh my God, it's like a whole nother task watching her. She walks everywhere, wants to jump off the couch or the bed all the time, walks through all doors that are open, and even when we are walking around, she wants to be so independent, so she won't hold my hand. She just wants to be free. She just grabs everything in sight, and right now she really loves new things, new objects, new foods. The last few weeks, she wants to try everything I'm eating. Like foods she didn't like before, she's starting to like again, like avocados she's been eating again lately. She used to love blueberries, stopped for a bit, and is eating them again. So if I'm on the couch snacking on them, I'll just see her tiny little hand like reach into my bowl and grab a few and then go back to playing. She's mainly in a strawberry phase right now, but we'll see how long that lasts. She used to not like a certain Greek yogurt flavor. I think it was because of the texture, but like the other day she crushed almost a whole serving, like almost 175 grams. It was nuts. She wouldn't stop. Overall, yeah, it was a good weekend with her. She's finally back to normal after being sick the week before. Since it was just me and my daughter, I actually played around with my camera for most of the weekend, like a true dad making home videos. Like I've mentioned before, I'm looking to see if I should get back into YouTube, even though it's been years, almost 10 years since I've done that. And man, my weekend was just packed with figuring things out, editing and all that. I actually got pretty comfortable setting up the camera and just doing what I usually do pretty much every day for over a decade when it comes to working out, and more importantly, making meals, cleaning up, all that. So that's what I did this past weekend, and man, I recorded like almost 300 gigs of footage over 2 days, and I have this like 25-minute edited video, which is like almost 200 gigs. So I'm trying to figure out if I can even do this on my computer with the minimal storage that I do have. But yeah, that's also what I did last weekend. So we'll see if those clips ever see the light of day. But I figured out things with my camera. I might look into getting another accessory or two, ones that I actually need. I figured out how to get my microphone working with it too, and that gets me excited. Although I did spend a lot of my free time, almost all of my free time, editing, figuring out all this stuff with the camera. So I'm trying to figure out if it's a viable thing to do right now. I know it'll get easier and quicker over time, I'm sure, like with everything else. But for now, whatever. It's fun, a little bit of a hobby. It's still in the space that I love, which is fitness and health. And it's literally just recording what I personally do to stay in shape for so long. Even though that life can be super busy, I'm still here figuring it out as I go. Now it's just accompanied with a camera and a microphone, so I'm pretty much just talking to myself for like a majority of the day. I mean, even when I do this podcast, I'm just talking to myself, really. I mean, the audience is you guys, but I mean, I'm just in a room talking to myself. Honestly, the best part of this right now is just capturing moments with my daughter, which a lot of that obviously won't be public. In terms of how diet is going for myself, talked about it earlier, yeah, 3,000 calories, blah, blah, blah. I thought that would be my cutting calorie level, but it might not be actually. Got to play around with it for like another week, see what my weight fluctuations are at. Thing is, I'm a bit conflicted because although I was planning on doing a mini cut for 8 to 12 weeks, I don't really feel like dropping my calories right now if I actually do need to, because my body's just loving the extra food, especially being on a consistent basis. So I'm going to chill at this calorie intake for a while, see what happens with my body. Weight is generally staying still right now, around 172, but I can feel myself every week getting stronger and putting on muscle. So I'm just going to ride that out for a little bit. I think that's the best strategy. I don't want to just cut again just to cut, especially because I feel like my body is enjoying the food that I'm having right now and it's responding the right way. So I'm not going to make any sudden changes, just going to continue to push the intensity, keep the calories where they're at, because my strength is actually going up and I don't want to kill that momentum right now. Like this week, okay, OHP went up. Incline barbell bench press, I've been doing them paused lately. It went up like 10 pounds. Rows and deadlifts continuing to increase. Pulled like 365 on deads, which is not like, it's not that heavy. I understand, like when you're seeing people on social media pull like 800 pounds, but 365 for me is pretty good. If I can go to repping like 405 eventually, that'll be amazing. I don't think it would be smart to cut calories right now because this is something I feel like my body needs right now. So I'm listening to it instead of just thinking about getting shredded right now or whatever is the thing to do around this time of the year. So yeah, that's a little insight to what's going on in my head and my strategy going forward. I didn't run this week because I've just been in the gym doing my thing, you know. Plus, we've had a bit of snow lately. So we had a snow day last Thursday. So I only ran this week if it was part of the actual circuit workout for the week. No long distance outdoor running this week, but we'll see if I can get back to it this weekend. I think we're expecting snow on Sunday, so I'm going to try to get it in on maybe Saturday morning. I think would be a good idea. Topic number 1, training mistakes that people make every new year. So now that we're a few weeks deep into 2026, I figured I should go over a topic like this. And being a trainer for over 10 years now, I've pretty much seen it all. This is my 10th time now. I know it ages me, but yes, this is my 10th time going through the whole New Year's resolutioners crowd, new people in the gym to start the year. And then I see those same people for a few weeks, and then by the time February comes around, they're gone, and it's only the typical crowd that I see again, besides a few exceptions. I understand, though. Motivation, all-time high, okay, at the start of the year. It's the time for a fresh start. So today I want to talk about how this, or the common training mistakes that people make every single year without fail, and how we can actually prevent this in order for you to stay consistent with training this year. And January is the time where I meet a lot of new people in the gym. So this is literally just my experience like the past 3 weeks, definitely, for sure. And then also like over the past few years of, like I said, the January crowd coming in. So the first one I hear a bunch is that people are going into the gym with no plan. Yeah, they know they want to build their abs, lose weight in their midsection, lose weight in general. But when I ask them about their routine, they're just doing every machine in the gym, or they're going into the gym doing a half-hour core workout that their favorite influencer does. Literally just heard that one, not even 2 weeks ago. You have to have a plan when you're going to the gym, something that aligns with your goals, something that you'll actually stick to and enjoy, and there's some sense of progression with the exercises you're doing, and you should stick with it for at least 8 to 12 weeks, not just changing up the program every like 1 to 2 weeks because you saw a new program on social media or something like that. If you're looking to get stronger, lose body fat, you need to progress. And if you don't stick to a proper program for long enough, you'll never know if you are actually progressing. Give your body time to adapt to the program first before switching to something new too quickly. You just gotta trust the process. So, how to sustain your gains and progressively get better is to keep your routine nice and simple. Stick to a program, 8 to 12 weeks, see if you're improving in some way. People don't quit because the plan doesn't work. They quit before the plan has a chance to work. That's a big problem I see. And it's not really their fault because we're constantly bombarded with messages like lose 15 pounds in 2 weeks and your before and after photo will go from this to this. This is pretty much related to what I'm talking about because sometimes the plan that people are following is coming from an influencer that you want to look like. Just because it worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Everyone requires a different amount of training volume. I guarantee you, if I had followed Arnold Schwarzenegger's routine, I would not look like him. No chance. And yes, I've tried. Now, you can try whatever routine you find, but I think trying it and then tweaking it is probably the smartest thing you could do. Do the movements that you feel like are effective for you and probably scale down the intensity a bit at first. And next one, my favorite, ego lifting. Here's a big one, okay? January, for some reason, the time where people tend to show off a bit in the gym. And the thing is, it's the worst time to do that. You might have had like at least a week or two off the gym, and then now you're just getting back into it, maybe putting too much weight on the bar, form goes out the window. This inevitably leads to stall progress, plateau, or even worse, injury somewhere down the road. Ego lifting is the enemy of longevity. Trust me, I know all about that. So think about cleaning up those reps, control the tempo. That's a big one for most people. And just think about adding weight to the bar slowly over time. This is the best way to keep injuries and setbacks to a minimum. And that way you're able to train for the whole year without obstacles and these setbacks in your way. You just work your way up because you can always add weight to exercises, but if you add it too quickly, you might regret it later on. All right, quick one here. You have to don't let the motivation guide your programming. So stick to a routine where you're going 2 to 4 times weekly and don't treat your workouts as punishment. Full body days are best to ease your way into things, regardless if you're new or coming back from some time off. Make sure you're able to recover from what you're doing and again, tweak if needed. You're not going to feel 100% every day, so you take it one day at a time. Last one I want to quickly talk about as well is that people will typically skip the basics. The amount of times I talk to people and they skip the warm-ups, too damn high. Even talking to other trainers, and sometimes I'll do it too, I'll be honest. But this is the foundation. This is where you work on your form, perfecting that, learning how to brace your core, mobility, the warm-ups. Skip all that and all of a sudden your shoulder hurts, your knee, your lower back hurts, or thinking, I wonder why things aren't feeling as stable as they should be. The warm-ups and all that stuff before the actual exercise, it's not just for beginners, they're for everyone. No matter what skill level or experience you have, strength training or resistance training also is a skill, so treat it that way and the gains will come. Topic number 2, rebuilding your base, fundamentals over PRs. So speaking of getting back to the basics, this is the time to do that. I've seen too many people go too hard in the gym right away, and it's only a matter of time before injuries and aches and pains start to set in. Right now, it's all about technique, building a good mobility foundation, aerobic work, consistency. We're not trying to get to a burnout kind of level. Kind of touched on this in the last topic. It kind of led into this, right? Ego lifting, skipping the basics. This is why right here. You want to make sure that you have the basics and fundamentals down pat before you start really progressively overloading, especially if you're new. But even if you are an experienced lifter, I've had to do this many times over the years when it comes back to resetting the deadlift form, my squat form, my OHP form, even something like back to work on more of a mind to muscle connection there. Your first few weeks in the gym is not the time to be testing your 1 rep max. It's about perfecting form and technique. Technique is king, especially in this phase. You have all year to get stronger, but don't think about adding too much weight on the bar if your form is not as perfect as it can be, because that's just a recipe for disaster. January is a good time where you should be thinking about slowing down your reps, so your tempo, working on that. Think about proper form and bracing techniques. How exactly to keep your core tight during certain movements, getting to know your body basically. Improving your squat depth. This way, you'll be able to generate more power and strength output with the same effort, and you're not having to constantly think about your form. It'll just be second nature in the near future, as long as you practice it. Mobility, that's underrated, underestimated part about all this fitness and health stuff. If you're at a desk job, this is even more necessary, but we all need it to a certain extent regardless. With most people working from home these days, the same areas are tight. Your hips, your T-spine, ankles lose range, shoulders and neck are tight and stiff. That's just the general areas I see on a daily basis. Even with new members and people that I see, this is why January, the start of your journey potentially, this is where you focus on these areas. Restoring full range of motion is going to help when it comes to feeling a lot better throughout the day. And this is something that you constantly have to work on, not just 5 minutes twice a week. Do you really think that's going to be effective when it comes to relieving the tension in those areas? You can't expect the 5 minutes to completely negate you being seated for like 8 to 10 hours a day. It's just not realistic. 5 minutes is better than nothing though, don't get me wrong. But it's something you should work on for more than like 10 to 15 minutes per week, especially if it's something that's chronically bothering you. Something to slowly ramp up as well would be your general work capacity. We can even tie in aerobic capacity here. This is part of building that base as well. You don't just want to only be strength training. Aerobic health and heart health are key also. Probably an underrated part of this if you're into the whole bodybuilding space. So if you're just getting back into the swing of things right now, you might notice that what you're able to handle just goes down a little bit. Your training volume, strength, how far you can run, that takes a dip with some time off, and that's normal. So it's nothing to be worried about. But at this time, you should be thinking about building up gradually. This means right now, if you're just focused on completing workouts and not feeling destroyed, you shouldn't be walking out of the gym barely being able to walk down the stairs or something like that. The good news is that your body adapts very quickly. So you might notice in a few weeks that you're able to handle more and you can ramp everything up when it comes to intensity and all that. Now, when it comes to your aerobic capacity, it's the same thing. Gradually building that up is the best. That means that your recovery between sets becomes a lot easier. Your heart rate can come back down to normal quicker than it usually does. This means you can increase your training volume, what you can handle, and then you're able to perform your reps cleaner, even when you get to the end of the set. This is why it's good to work on a little bit of cardio to the point where you can still keep up a conversation. I think is a good idea. Nothing too intense unless you're after something like that, but zone 2 or maybe even 3 if you're familiar with that. And then again, over time, you're pushing it. And again, this doesn't have to be a crazy jump. Speed-wise, even if you look at increasing like 0.1 or 0.2 speed weekly, depending on your treadmill, I don't know how it works, but on ours, like it goes by levels, right? So if you're doing like 3.0, 3.1 the next week, 3.2 the next week, this way your body can adapt to that change a little bit better. As opposed to thinking, okay, I'm at speed 3 this week, I'll just go to 4 next week, and then 5 the week after, and then 6 the week after. By the time you get to 5 or 6, that's going to be way too quick. So just slow and steady here. And your mobility foundation is key. So at the end of last year, I talked about how joint health can be so important for sustained longevity. Remember, you're building a base and foundation the first few weeks in the gym, not about setting PRs. Those are going to come. But you don't want to rush that. Make sure your joints and muscles are ready to handle the load. You might get away with it at first, but eventually this could catch up to you. And I'm speaking from experience here again. I probably sound like a broken record talking about, yeah, my bench press was heavy once upon a time. I was hitting PRs every week. Like it felt like that. After like 6 weeks of that, I started to get elbow and shoulder pain. So then I had to rest, had to lay off the bench. 3 months later, I wasn't even close to where I was at. And that's because I didn't listen to and I didn't take care of my body. The signs were there, but I ignored them because my raw strength was just getting stronger, but my body wasn't ready for it. I thought pushing through was the best thing, and that was a terrible decision. So don't make the same mistakes as me. So if you're new to this, take your time with it. Nothing significant is going to change in the first 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even 2 months. Hate to be the bearer of the bad news there. You have to be in this for the long run. So this is why you need to be training and doing all of this in a smart way. Spend these next few weeks thinking about working through imbalances, working on your mobility and fullest range of motion you can get. I think those are great ideas. Your workouts should have you feeling strong afterwards, not beat up and drained the rest of the day. This is the setup for the rest of the year, not where you go so hard that you fall off and never come back. This makes the rest of your year better, the rest of your life if you really stick with it. Building your foundation now sets everything else up when it comes to momentum that helps the gains compound over time. Better technique, better conditioning just leads to better health in general. And that's the key to feeling good for the rest of your life. And that concludes episode 152 of the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Lift and Learn podcast. If you enjoyed the episode or the podcast as a whole, it would mean a lot if you left a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening to this. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes are currently being released on Thursdays. You can find me, your host, on Instagram at isaiah.copon or visit my website at isaiahcopon.com. If you want to follow the podcast itself, head over to Instagram and look up at Lift and Learn Podcast. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.